Star Wars Episode 9 is set to implement many different twists and turns as well as surprises in the film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really excited and fascinated about when it comes to this movie is, of course, the mystery, right? Exactly what J.J. Abrams is really going to do to wrap up the entire Skywalker saga, and I believe it's why the anticipation is very high for this movie, just like with The Force Awakens, which was reviving Star Wars. Now, in this scenario, it's ending the Skywalker saga. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, this is where things begin to get very intriguing that may be a good or a bad thing for the Skywalker saga. Now, it's described that one of the plot twists during the third act of the film will change many elements of the Star Wars prequel trilogy and will truly open hidden aspects in the prequels that will be magnified in Episode 9. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about Episode 9 as a whole and how it's going to have these saga-wide implications. Even Richard E. Grant hinted at this before a couple of days ago about this movie having earth-shaking twists and turns. But let's look at the prequels. Now, this is where things begin to get very interesting for me to the point where I'm just mind-boggled. Now, when we look at the prequels, apparently there's some hidden aspects of the franchise within the prequels that will be magnified in Star Wars Episode 9. So, essentially, and to put this in a more simple way, what J.J. Abrams plans to do is to overlook certain aspects of the prequels from The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, hidden parts of those movies that aren't necessarily seen by the audience and the viewer, and actually implementing it into Episode 9 and making it a bigger part of the overall plot of the movie. And that, to me, is honestly something very intriguing that will have a lot of implications on the Star Wars prequel trilogy and change certain elements of those movies. Now, like I say, this could absolutely be a good or a bad thing. It is a big risk by Disney and Lucasfilm, where one movie could have a big effect on the prequel trilogy. I know that there's a lot of prequel fans out there, as well as a lot of people who dislike the prequels, and that's perfectly fine and okay. I favor Revenge of the Sith way over Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace, but like I say, The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, it has its moments. So, looking at everything for Episode 9, the fact that it's really going to have these plot twists and these different twists and turns and surprises that are going to have a big effect on the prequels and the originals, to the point where it's going to change many different elements of them, one of which is, of course, one of the plot twists within the third act of this movie that's going to change our view on the prequel trilogy, that will actually borrow hidden aspects in either Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, or The Phantom Menace, that will actually be a bigger story or a bigger part of the story in Episode 9. And that's the thing that's really mind-boggling to me, is what are these hidden aspects in the prequel trilogy that we are not seeing to this day that will be a part of Episode 9? Where we eventually actually get to watch Episode 9, and then and only then will we realize what the hidden aspects of the prequel trilogy really were. So that, to me, I think is yet another way of J.J. Abrams trying to connect this movie to the prequel trilogy era by also kind of making everything feel interconnected in one single film. And I gotta say, I can only imagine what J.J. Abrams has gone through during principal photography for Episode 9. I mean, it's got to be quite a breather, the fact that they are getting closer to the end of filming for this movie by the end of this month, because we do know that they are wrapping over at Black Park. They're pretty much done over there. Pinewood Studios and Cardington, they're still doing a lot of scenes between Rey, Kylo, Luke Skywalker, other characters here and there, some reshoots, etc. So they're getting close. They're getting very close to the end of this movie, and I think that the way that they're going to market this film, since this movie is going to have a lot of twists and turns and surprises, is that not only will they market it as a movie that's going to be the final installment of the Skywalker saga, but a movie that is truly going to change Star Wars history and have a big effect on the prequel trilogy era. And that to me I think is somewhat surprising. You know, when it comes to the marketing of a movie, you gotta do it right? And I feel like that's where The Last Jedi kind of fell flat toward the end. Toward the end, they were just pretty much spewing out endless TV spots, revealing almost every single plot outline of the movie, to the point where you would eventually be able to piece it together, right? You would basically be able to know what was actually going to happen in which act of the movie. So we do know that J.J. Abrams, as a director and as a writer, he has said this before in Howard Stern, that he does not like revealing a lot of stuff for his movies. So basically, we can expect less TV spots, and I guess you could say teasers and or trailers that are only going to be pretty much attached to eye candy that don't reveal a lot of, you know, pieces of the plots of the actual movie. So with that being said, guys, what do you think about this big plot twist that is going to make us realize certain hidden secrets, hidden elements, and or aspects in the prequel trilogy era that will be a big thing in this movie? Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.